Hey, thank you, Dean. We're real excited here to show you this today. So, okay, everybody, hope you're having a good day. Welcome to the Art of the Price Book webinar. And I want to thank you all for joining all across the United States, and in particular to some of our friends over in Europe. Special shout out to Daniel and Andy over in Germany, Berlin. Thanks for staying up late tonight, guys, to watch this. I know you're interested in supplier price updating. So we'll get into it right now. Okay, the auto material price updating, we're going to start with that section today, which affects your estimating, purchasing, job cost, billing, and inventory. All right. So why do we want to auto price update? Because it's 99% faster than manually having to change your costs and prices. And it's more accurate because the humans aren't making the errors themselves. Okay. And we're hoping everyone can hear us, so we're going to continue on.
Dean, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm not muted.
Hi, Cindy. This is Bob Keller. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, and that's
okay, wonderful.
Good for me too.
We'll carry on then. Thank you. Somebody was saying they couldn't hear us, but we're going to carry on. All right. So getting back to why we want to price update our materials automatically. Again, if you have human beings making price changes while you're doing your billing, your estimating, that's taking chances on human error. Plus, if it's auto priced updated for you, you don't have to look through vendor invoices and trying to spot price changes that are going on. And we all know the pricing on materials is very volatile, especially right now. And it also cuts down on time spent visiting vendor websites when you're looking for price changes and calling them. So the whole idea there is to do that. So the next question becomes, how can I auto price update with COBRA? Well, you've got a number of choices. One's called changes by product group. That's in your price book center screen. We'll talk about that in a minute. You can also update with the COBRA purchase order program and get price changes that way, which is an automatic feature. And probably the most popular that's growing is the price link, which links with your local suppliers for price updating. And we'll spend some time on that in a couple of minutes as well. So these are the three main ways you can auto price your update. All right. So auto price updating plays a critical role in eliminating your over/under billings. It eliminates incorrect job costs, as well as inaccurate estimates and proposals. You know, when you're manually changing prices, typically, you have a $20 material item that's manually entered at $2, and if you're using that over and over again in estimates and billings, well, it's big time dollar losses for the company. So you got to ask yourself, what % of the material items are you manually updating right now? And again, we're talking about the actual costs that you're using day to day. Just think of the stress it puts on office people if you have to hunt down an invoice that went out with the incorrect material prices, just because you've been transposing manual prices and having to call the customer, talk about stress, not a good thing. All right. So of course, the more you avoid the manual keyboarding work of typing in costs and prices, the better. After all, owners expect to make their correct profit margin. All right. Okay, so here's one of those auto price updating tools you can use to make global price changes in your product group. This one's called Changes by Product Group. Now, the theory behind this is when a price change takes place on an item such as half-inch EMT, the items within the group, such as 3/4 inch, 1 inch, and so forth, they're all getting the same price increase. So rather than changing them individually, just use this tool. Now you can see where I selected the product group EMT, and I'm raising the costs on all of the EMT items by 5%. There's a nice video on this and a lot of other price book video training in our video training library, which is on our website. So check it out. All right. Okay, now we're in the supplier price update screen in COBRA. Now this is where you update the latest prices from your local suppliers. They send you a file, you click create, and then click update, and any costs that have changed are updated in your COBRA price book. You also have the capability to click the supplemental button, which creates a separate catalog of material items from your supplier. Now, we'll talk more about the supplemental in just a few minutes. I feel it's a very underused tool, but very powerful. Okay, so after you've run the update from your supplier, make sure and take a look at the results. The View Updated Items shows you the latest changes that have taken place. You can see your previous cost, the new updated cost, of course, the dollar difference and the percent difference on each item that just got updated. Just think about it. If you're not using this service, your costs and prices are still sitting there at the previous cost and not up to date. So, nice feature there. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about this supplemental price book in COBRA. This is where you can have your supplier's catalog stored and available at all times. And when you run a price update, you can replace their old catalog with a brand new one. So you're always up to date with their pricing. And since most of you purchase materials from more than one supplier, you'll want to have these supplier catalogs at your fingertips at all times. And did you know you can access the supplemental screen while you're in COBRA working, doing estimating, job costing, and purchasing? There's an old 80-20 rule, and I know you've probably heard it. 80% of the time, you're only using 20% of the items. So it only makes sense that your COBRA price book carries the top 20% of the most commonly used items you guys use. The rest of the items, the supplier, that has the other 80% that you mainly use rarely, just once in a while, they're still available and accessible at any time, but they stay out of your main COBRA price book, so they're not clogging it up with hundreds of thousands of items. Less is more in your COBRA price book. Keep that in mind. But you can always get at the vendor's catalogs right here. Now, this is where the art of the price book really begins to take shape. As this example shows, you can see the list of materials on the left side of the screen from my vendor border states. Now, I'm using it to add items to my main COBRA price book. And I've got double search capabilities, which are really nice. I can search through the border states catalog. I can drill down to a particular section, such as EMT. And then I can drill further down into the EMT section to just select the elbows, because let's say maybe they're taking on a new line of elbows and I want them to be part of my COBRA price book, that 20%. because I'm using elbows all the time. So all I do is click export, and now the elbows, the new ones, are in the COBRA price book. Excellent. Let's look at another tool in the supplemental. Okay, this is called cost codes. And this is where you can do two things. You can create cost codes, which I will explain, and you can update trade numbers from your vendor. These are both very powerful. Now, cost codes is becoming quite popular. This is where you marry up individual items from different suppliers so that you can easily see the different costs they're charging for an item. In this example, the left side shows the 1/2-inch EMT from my supplier border states, along with my COBRA price book, which is showing up on the right side of the screen. I simply click the cost code button to create the cost code. And you talk about nice. Let's have a look. All right, here's that 1/2-inch EMT along with the multiple suppliers that we buy from. Now you can access the screen anytime when you're estimating job costs and purchasing. And we're going to have another webinar on this called How to Buy Better Using Cost Codes. And it definitely can save you guys money when you're purchasing materials. And we'll talk about that. I think the next webinar is in mid-June. So we'll keep you all informed on that one. Okay. Let's actually go into the COBRA price book. All right. And we'll talk a little bit about this new feature called F5. Not sure if you're all aware of it. We've been talking about it in our newsletters and online with you. But any of these fields in the price book now, if I press my F5 key, I can see a certain section of the price book, such as my EMT section here. And this is a great screen. If I want to make any changes, you know, to the price book, if I want to delete items, if I want to search for updates, you know, what price updates have taken place, all of those things are available in my F5 key. And I can use it all over the place. But remember, I just imported some new items from the supplemental from that border states. If I do this, I can see those elbows now that came into the price book. And if I want to get them really properly organized, I can just type the recall name, and I can go a little further and even put it in a product group that I've established, and that can be EMT, or in my case, I have item number 10, and save them, and boom. I'm going to add the new items now. They're in my price book from that supplier catalog. Easy peasy, very simple to do. So some of you that want to just start all over with a brand new COBRA price book, let's get a couple of those supplier catalogs, and we can build a new price book with all their price updates and their most recent trade numbers, their part numbers, all of that. We'll help you get it all organized. I wanted to show you another feature here. Now this is another price book I have from a vendor called Viking. I'm going to load that. And this is the way you can tell if your price book in COBRA is kind of, you know, out of date. It's just not getting updated properly from your vendor. And you can see I ran an update in April. That was the last time I got one from my vendor, April 22nd, you know, a couple weeks back, 3 weeks. And I can see most of the stuff here is getting updated. So I'm pretty happy with all my items that are getting updated. But all of a sudden, I've got stuff in here, you know, that is not getting updated. I can see, oh, maybe January. Okay, maybe that's okay. It's still 2021. Maybe they just haven't had the price increases on those. But as I go down my price book here and look at everything, I can start to see some of the years gone by where we haven't been getting price updates, updating inside COBRA. So this tells me that my price book is not in great shape. I've got old pricing going on here. So what you can do with that, what we recommend to do is find these items and get a couple of catalogs, because we're going to grab their new stuff and put it right into the COBRA like I've showed you. But we can just simply mass delete. We can just say, okay, I'm getting rid of all this stuff. And the delete button down on the lower left is where I click delete. And they're gone. And then we import from the new catalog, and we've got ourselves a new price book. So some of those tools that hopefully we can work with you guys on and get your catalogs up to date. Excellent. All right, very good. So hopefully that helps you out. By the way, we are recording this webinar, so if you want to see these little tricks and tips, just go to the COBRA video library, again, at our website, and you can watch this over again. All right. I want to talk about one other thing briefly, and that's the what we call the COBRA field sheets. Now, a lot of you have been using those. We kind of got that idea maybe 20-some years ago from an electrician that was just having a heck of a time trying to get their billings out, especially their time and material billings, because they didn't have a nice way to just quickly cost and price out the materials. So if you guys are still manually typing material descriptions and you're looking up costs and prices, wow, you know, no. Let's work with you. Let's get a field sheet built that your company uses. And I know a lot of you are using it. We're excited because we've transformed this now right onto our mobile product. So you can have this right out in the field. And boy, does it make a difference. You talk about field sheets. As they save time, the guys don't have to handwrite material descriptions anymore. If they're still doing that in the field, we've got to get them on this latest, greatest. And in the office as well. People shouldn't have to be typing these descriptions anymore. This should all be automatic for you. Good, excellent. Okay, so that's a little bit about the field sheet. And again, if you want to stick around for the last 10 minutes, we'll show you that in the mobile and how that's working. And you can also print them out on paper too in the office, either one. So let's talk about if you're interested in linking up with your suppliers. The regular price for an update link is $495 per supplier. If you're on the COBRA annual maintenance plan, you get a discount of $395, and you can do that, buy them at any time. If you decide you want to do something quickly within the next 30 days, because you're attending this webinar today, we got a special offer of $195 per supplier link. So you get a really great discount if you guys want to move on it. And what your price includes is we will test the file for you. We'll format it if it needs a little TLC work on the update file. We will then go on and install the supplier update file into your COBRA price book for you. And we'll include our full support and training, you know, show you how to run the price update file, because you want them to send it to you, you know, as often as possible and get the hang of, you know, loading it in. And then we'll also install it into that COBRA supplemental price book so you have their catalog. And really learning how to do this is very simple once we show you a couple times. So you can have that happening for you. Okay, so how does this all work? Okay, well, we'll send you, it's a one-page document that you then forward over to your material supplier, and then you ask them to look at that sheet of paper and send a sample file back to you, which you then can forward over to us, and we'll check it out for you. Like. Now you can download this off our website, or we'll send you one of these at the, you know, after this webinar, everybody that's attended today, to make sure you have it. But it's just a one-page document, and this is what you send over to your suppliers. And really what we're looking for is item number 1 called the supplier catalog, UPC number. They have to provide that along with the description of the item, very simple. And number 5 and 6, the unit of measure. How do they sell it to you? Is it on an each basis, 100 or 1,000 for the items? And then what's their price? What are they charging currently? That's it. You know, we've been doing this for 20 some years with suppliers all over the country. This isn't rocket science. Anybody that's working on the computer system at that suppliers can do this in their sleep. So we encourage you to, you know, just give them a little elbow bump and tell them that you like the feeling of this and you want this for your company. And I know a lot of you have sales reps that stop by. Just give them the piece of paper. It also engenders loyalty between you and that local supplier that you know, you guys work with. So it's a win-win on both sides of the equation there. Excellent. Okay. Let's see. I want to go back. Okay. Well, we're just about wrapping up here with this. Appreciate you. That first 20 minutes, we're about into it. And we've looked at that supplier price update. Okay. So for the end here, right now, we want to thank you for attending this Art of the Price Book. It's our first one, and thanks all for stopping by today. You know, we're going to have the next one, Buying Better, using those cost codes. So if we can get you set up with a couple of these vendors, you're really going to like the next one on how you can use it to purchase materials better, be real competitive with your buying. And again, like I said, if you want to watch this webinar, you can visit us at the COBRA website, and you can log into our video training library to see all the COBRA videos, including the price book videos. Now, for our final 10 minutes, if you guys want to stick around, we're going to demonstrate that COBRA mobile field sheet, which now runs on all Apple and Android devices. And I got to tell you, the mobile is just going crazy out there. And you definitely want to check that out as well. So thank you for attending today, and we'll spend another 10 minutes talking about the mobile field sheet for you. And if you want to stick around, here we are. We've got an iPad right up on the screen, and we've sent out one of these work orders from COBRA so that the guy has it on his iPad right here. And he's got everything he needs to know about the upcoming job. You can see on the top left where the customer is on the job location, the job description. He's got a fixtures and causes, switches are causing problems, little job notes. He's got some history. I guess they installed a ballast back in 2004 from a vendor, Gray Bar, and Scott, who's no longer with the company, but back in 2004 he was. He did the install. Okay. And we've got it kind of completed for you already, where we've got hours in, 5 hours from Chuck Cameron and 2 hours from Andy, who was a helper on the job. So we've already filled in a lot of this. We even have a total here for you because the mobile system does so much automatically. It's just fantastic. But we wanted to bring up that mobile field sheet that you can build inside COBRA and have that on the guy's iPads for you.
Yeah, you can build different field sheets for different types of work, and they're all built in COBRA. And there are some easy tools to build field sheets too, especially those who've been with us for a long time. There are some exports and imports for field sheets based on item usage. A lot of cool tools already in COBRA for building these. But when we look at a field sheet on the iPad, you can see what we call the table of contents, or what's known on the iPads as bookmarks. Starting with boxes here, this is coming from COBRA. This is the field sheet part of this. So all the tech does is select a section, go into the quantity, enter a quantity, and they're done recording their items. We can also record items that are not on the sheet, which I've done here just to make this go a little faster. We have what's called a tally sheet. This is actually for tech. They requested this. They wanted to be able to see what items they recorded on the sheet without having to scroll through tons and tons of pages. So this helps them remember, you know, what they recorded. Did they forget anything? All of that. Want to take pictures, or your techs might want to, based on, you know, model numbers, liabilities, before and after pictures, maybe even pictures of receipts, as you can see here. And then the cover page is where we enter all. We can record all of our time, and we have 8 slots for recording time up here at the upper right of the sheet. We can also record our tech notes, which I did using the microphone. And then for those of you who want to collect on site, we have the calculate button, which will take all the information recorded based on your current pricing and charges and tax codes and all that, and create a job total for collecting on site if you want to do that. It's not required. When we hit the submit button, it gets sent right back into COBRA for one-click processing into COBRA.
But that's another reason why you want to have material price updating happening, because this is all automated for you. And so when it comes back into COBRA, the job's completely finished.
Yes.
All you have to do is just check on the, you know, everything that the guys filled in, make sure everything's correct, and make any changes if possible.
Right. So the last thing about this I think is very valuable is the log that is created with this mobile technology to ensure that no field sheet sent out to the field gets lost. So you can see the date received on these items as the field sheets have not come in yet, so we can click the email technicians button to give them a nice reminder on their iPad that you have not received those. So this technology is automated and is really, really powerful. All right. So when we come into the import screen, which, by the way, you don't have to come into the import screen to see what's come in from the field, but when you do come in here, you can see all the items in the upper left list, that have come in. So we can double click on one, post it to the job. With one click, what it's doing is posting the materials to the job. It's also saving all the notes.
Posting the labor hours too.
Yeah, we can post labor hours to payroll right here. It tells us that there are pictures on this form. So if we look at the one we just sent in, here's all the items. The log is filled in that we received it. So when we double click on it, we can just post everything to the job. Then I can finish up just showing you with that one click everything that's happened on that job. All the material and labor are recorded.
And those are accurate costs coming from my supplier, so I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Right. All of our job notes have come in from the field. So anytime a mobile field sheet is sent in to this job, we get a whole history of who did what, when on that job, which is really powerful. And lastly, we store every mobile field sheet in your document center for you. So if you ever need to go back to it or verify something, the way it was sent in from the field is exactly how it shows up on the screen. There it is. So all that with one click. That's de-stressing the office.
I think it's nice that we can take it from soup to nuts now, right from your local suppliers, right out to the mobile, send it back into COBRA for processing. Pretty much one click process the entire way through. So with that in mind, we want to thank you. If you've got any questions, we can open that up. I believe we can we? For anybody that's got questions. Otherwise, you can email us with your questions or call us. You know us. We're here for you all the time. And, you know, want to thank you all for attending today. And like I said, we'll get you out the supplier document, the one pager, if you want to, you know, work with us on that and get that out to your suppliers. I'll be happy to work with you. All right. Thanks very much. Y'all have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks everyone for attending. See you soon.